looks like it's 6 o'clock, so I'm gonna call this meeting to order. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand if they would, and Mr. McPherson, if you'd lead us in prayer, and I'll lead us in the pledge of the flag.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together to do the work of the city. We pray your blessings upon the city council as they deliberate. We ask for their wisdom as they do the will of the people. For in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Councilmember Brown. Councilmember Childs.
Present.
Councilmember Griffiths.
Present.
Vice Mayor Humphreys.
Present.
Councilmember Stockton.
Present.
Councilmember Wright.
Present.
Mayor Neal.
Present.
And I think I saw Member Brown just log on.
Present. So I hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
That motion is second. You see any corrections, deletions to the minutes?
I do not.
Ms. Stockton?
I do not.
Yeah, I couldn't see you. Couldn't see where you was at. Madam Clerk, you please call the roll on the minutes.
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Childs.
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphreys.
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton.
Yes.
Councilmember Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Neal. 7 ayes.
Now we've got time set aside for any citizens that wish to comment on the council meeting tonight. Is there any citizens that wish to comment? Okay. We'll go straight into reports. Start out, I don't have anything to report right now at this time. So I'll go around and see. Ms. Humphries, do you have anything to report?
I actually want to yield the floor to Chase Clem. I see he's on with us, and let him discuss what's going on with Park and Rec and the ball field lot issue. And he and Council Member Brown can tell you more about that than I can.
Okay. Mr. Clint.
Thank you, Ms. Humphries. We've been out to the ball field the 2 nights in the past week while they were practicing, and Councilmember Brown and Mr. Griffiths and Mr. Childs can allude to it more. But as you all know, the lights are continuing to be a problem. I think we counted 8 lights out on the softball field today. If I'm wrong, correct me, Tony. And just a lot of lighting needs replaced and redirected on the baseball field. And this is something that's not new to y'all. You all know this. But I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I know there were some that couldn't. That's okay. But just hopefully we're able to resolve this problem.
I talked to Mr. Childs about it this morning, and I think they got an idea about what to do. With the RU going to help out. So, do you have anything else, Ms. Humphries?
No.
We're going to come Thursday
Ms. Wright?
and Thursday evening to try to reposition some of the lights, and I'll let y'all get back to it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chase. Ms. Wright, do you have anything?
Just 2 things. Something I wasn't able to do last month that I wanted to do this month is congratulate our city manager for winning the Keep Tennessee River Beautiful Ripple Effect Award for conservation. So round of applause for him. It's a great award and greatly deserved. The second thing is Roane County received Tennessee Riverline's 2020 Community Partner of the Year Award. So I just wanted to recognize Roane County and the city manager for all those efforts. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Griffiths, do you have anything?
Well, then I have a report. Got an email from Barbara, and the library board meeting for this month has been canceled.
Mr. Brown?
The 911 is a lengthy report. I'll let you read it on your own. It's in your packet. Second thing, I just want to give a shout out to David and make sure that you tell them, to Chief Gordon and to Tim Clark's folks. We'd had several complaints about litter throughout the Gallagher Road area. Well, we contacted the state. It just so happened that their contractors who pick up litter were in the county. With Tim's people and Willie's people and my people, they got on the interstate, picked up around the exit at Gallagher Road and all the way to the Oak Ridge city limits. And I know that our firemen sometimes need something to do. Not that they don't have anything to do, but if I had to sit in that firehouse all the time, just waiting on something to happen. So they agreed to come out and with the lights and stuff to help the people. But the state contractor picked up all of Gallagher Road all the way to Oak Ridge city limits, and the county did part of 70. So hopefully it was a mess, but you won't be able to tell it probably next week sometimes. But a shout out to Tim's people and to Willie Gordon and the firemen, David.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Ms. Stockton, standing next to a bridge, I don't know where you're at. Do you have anything, Ms. Stockton?
Only wanted to, our two meetings of the beautification kind of merged together because of quorum, but on the minutes that we'll approve next month, the second and the third Friday of March, we're planning on help days at the Bethel Cemetery. That would start at 10 a.m. And we've got a lot of projects that we're doing just to kind of do improvements to help that cemetery. That's a historical site that is unfortunately been kind of neglected, probably just out of sight, out of mind, unless you had a reason to be at the cemetery. So we wanted to put some extra attention there. So, but we definitely appreciate all the help on the litter pickup, because that is a ongoing process. Being able to pick up the litter, so that was really good work from the city and the state and the county as well. So that was it.
Thank you. Mr. Childs, do you have anything?
I'm just going to touch on what Councilman Brown and they were talking about the litter. Had gotten several complaints on it also, and it looked like one of the newspaper companies had lost a couple bundles there when you got on the Gallagher Road. Come through, and I've had 2 or 3 people that's already come and commented on how good it looked. Again, there, a special thank you to Councilman Brown getting the people on that, and Willie and the fire department. They did a really good job. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Bowling, City Manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to my written report, first I want to just echo what Councilmember Brown, Councilman Childs said. Want to thank everybody involved in the litter pickup. Those guys did a great job. This wasn't it wasn't an organized event. This was something that we got some feedback that needed to happen, and it was originally, the intent was to try to get some inmate help to do that, and whether some other reasons kept us from being able to do that, and those guys stepped up on their own and went out and did that, and it wasn't something they were forced to do. They did that on their own initiative, and really appreciate it. Proud of their hard work on it. Like Councilmember Stockton said, it's an ongoing battle, but they sure made a dent in it, and we're proud of them for what they did. You may have seen an email yesterday. Chase and I had a virtual meeting with ORNL Federal Credit Union to discuss the proposed concert series. Obviously, it wasn't able to happen last year. We were still optimistic that it can this year, but they are interested. They continue to want to make this happen, to host it in Kingston. But understandably, they're concerned about the effects of COVID and whether or not they can do it safely. So we're going to stay in touch with them. Going to keep working and making sure that those channels of communication stay open. But honestly, not very optimistic that we're going to be able to see that in 2021. So we're going to follow up in a couple of months and see where things stand. But may not happen this year, but we're all committed to making sure it will happen, and I'm very appreciative of them for staying on board. Earlier today, I sent out an email. It looks like the city's going to be eligible for an additional $161,000 in COVID relief funding. We're going to be getting more information on that closer to summer, but it looks like these funds should be available in August. Unlike previous funds, it's not going to be a direct appropriation. I think it's going to be something that we'll have to apply for, and then we'll get the funding based on qualified projects. There was a pretty extensive list of things that these one-time projects that these funds can apply toward. So we'll have some time to talk about it between now and then, but you all may want to be thinking about it as we get a little closer to budget and what we may be able to use those funds for. So certainly good news and much appreciated relief. Finally, I know some of you talked about it. I know you've got complaints about it, about the traffic, some of the traffic lights in town. We keep getting questions about the timing, why the delays are as bad as they are. We did have them looked at, as you know, had them adjusted as much as we felt like they could realistically be. When you run them off timers, it's difficult because you have to be careful about changing them too much, and then you throw everything off system-wide. Our goal, and really I think the more permanent fix, is to rely more on traffic flow and less on timing. As I may have told you, we have applied for a traffic signal modernization grant that would be up to $250,000 with no local match. Those applications were due in December. We haven't heard yet when the announcements will be made, but our intent, if we get funding, is to start putting camera systems in to control our intersections. We wouldn't be able to do them all at one time, I doubt, but anywhere would be a start, and I think that's the permanent solution that we need. And just wanted to say, we appreciate everybody's patience and just let people know that we are working on that. We're trying to come up with a permanent solution of what we know is an aggravating problem. So that's all I have, Mayor, unless you have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for the city manager? All right, seeing none, we'll go into item number 7. Addition of items to the meeting agenda received after the close of the agenda deadline. Did not receive any of those. So number 8 is unfinished business. Consideration to approve the second reading of ordinance 21-1201, an ordinance establishing policies and procedures for the water department. Is there a motion to pass this on second reading?
I would move that we pass it as amended.
Have a motion of Mr. Brown to approve as amended. Yes, sir.
A second.
Ms. Stockton, go ahead.
Oh, I said a second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. There's a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on that?
Just the amendments, Mr. Mayor. We added that one about the outside sewer that wasn't in the original one. Then we changed the wording. Kelly changed it to reflect the reorganization so that we could tell when they're added, when they're not, and subtitled. And I just think it'll make it easier to go through. I would urge that we adopt it.
Any other question or comment? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphreys,
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Under new business, item 8 is consideration to select either path or train to conduct a no-cost, no-obligation comprehensive energy efficient audit for the city of Kingston, and to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with selected company for performance of the said audit. Do I have a motion to put this on the floor?
I'll make a motion we put it on the floor.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffith, second by Mr. Childs. Do you have anything, Mr. Griffiths? before I go to the city attorney?
No, just, I'm good with either one, but I think we need to move forward with this.
Mr. Childs, do you have anything?
Mr. Mayor, I talked to today and the city manager about putting it on the floor to put both of them, path and train, to go through like a roll call vote. You would either say for path or train, and they just go down the row and ask. I guess you could probably have no one or two, but I don't know exactly how to raise that up and put it on the floor.
Mr. Attorney, can you help us out just a second?
Mayor, it is, of course, the way that it has been put on the floor. You announced that the consideration to authorize the entry into a contract with either of these, and of course that's the next step. No matter what you all choose, you can choose to choose one or the other of the contractors, or you can choose not to go forward. But once you do that, you're still going to be in the spot of, okay, if you choose one or the other of the contractors by majority vote, then what you're actually voting to do is to authorize the mayor and the city manager to come up with a contract so that you all can vote on it perhaps at the next meeting after the contract has been formalized.
Okay. So are there any questions or comments? Ms. Humphries?
No, I just agree with Councilmember Griffiths that we need to just move forward and decide what we're going to do. We've kind of been talking about it a long time now, and I just agree we need to make some decisions.
Ms. Wright, do you have anything?
I do not.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Ms. Stockton?
No, I don't.
Madam Clerk, you will call the roll, and the member will either choose path or train. Will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Brown,
Train.
Councilmember Childs,
Train.
Councilmember Griffiths,
Train.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Train.
Councilmember Stockton,
Train.
Councilmember Wright,
Path.
Mayor Neal.
Train.
6 votes for train and 1 for path.
Now, city manager will work with the train representatives to put a contract together, and possibly we can have that by next month maybe, and see if we can get this rolling a little bit closer. All right, item B is consideration. Sorry, Mr. Bowling. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say I'll certainly be working with the city attorney as well on this to make sure that what we bring you is meets all the needs you have talked about throughout the process, and I'll share with you guys what we have as we get it. So.
Thank you, sir. All right, item B is consideration to authorize the mayor to enter into a contract with Michael Brady Incorporated for design, engineering, and bid-related services for the community center roof at an amount not to exceed $32,000. Is there a motion to enter into this contract?
I make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Stockton. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Childs. Ms. Stockton, do you have anything?
The only thing, just after phone calls this week, and I was debating on whether or not if this was the right decision, but at this point, just speaking with the ones that had already looked at patching, and I think we're way past that step, so we just don't want to go into this blind seeing the two estimates that we received were so different. We just don't know what the estimates were going to be for. So I think this is something that is pretty much a have to.
Mr. Childs?
I'd just rather see it be an asset than a liability. That's all I have.
Any other council members?
I'm assuming with the passage of this, that the $32,000 will come out of the fund balance, and Michelle will get us a line item for it, I would assume, with a budget amendment.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, we can certainly take it wherever you want it to. My recommendation was that we take it out of the 300 fund, out of the capital fund. But if you would rather us not take it out of there and take it out of 110, we can certainly look to do that. But if you don't have any objections, would prefer to pay it out of the capital fund expense.
Are there any objections?
And how much does that capital have in it?
I don't have a balance sheet in front of me, and Michelle might with a 3.
It's actually about,
some
I'll tell you
thousand.
exactly. $300 sorry, it's 308,000 right now.
And our commitments that we had talked about putting in the capitals, what will that do to those? And I'm assuming that's the boat ramp and stuff out at Lead Landing.
We have the only thing that's committed per se in there. We, obviously the $100,000 that was set aside for Ladd Park improvements, and we have money set aside to the tune of $48,000 for the city's matching portion of the STP project to resurface Ladd Boulevard when that gets ready. The other bulk of that money is the first round of COVID money, the $158,000, I think ballpark that we got. So which you all voted to put in the 300 fund. It's not committed to anything, so it would deduct from that if you're okay with that. I just think that's the easiest way to do it, considering that we're mid budget year.
Mr. Boland, we also have about $83,000 from the CARES Act money that we received that we have not moved to the capital fund yet because we were waiting to do an amendment for that.
So looks like we've got money there in that fund to take care of this.
Mm-hmm.
No other questions or comments. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal. 7 ayes.
Item C is consideration of resolution 21020901, a resolution authorizing the purchase credit card certificate. I think we talked about these last week, and I know that the financial group is on board with this and would like to see us do this. Do we hear a motion to pass this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Wright, second by Ms. Humphries. Ms. Wright, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
Ms. Humphries?
No.
Anyone else on council? Madam Clerk, call the roll on the P cards, please.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal. 7 ayes.
Item D is consideration to authorize the mayor to execute an easement agreement with Old Capital Town LLC regarding the future utility easements and liability for 615 North Kentucky Street. We here have a motion to allow me to authorize the agreement.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion from Ms. Wright, second from Ms. Stockton. Ms. Wright, do you have anything to add?
No, this is just a necessary step in development of that property.
Ms. Stockton?
No, I do not.
Anyone else on council?
No.
Madam Clerk, call the roll on the agreement with Old Capital Town LLC.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries,
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
That is the end of the agenda. This city council meeting is adjourned. Now we'll go straight into the regular meeting of the Kingston Beer Board. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for the Beer Board, please?
Member Brown,
Present.
Member Childs,
Present.
Member Griffiths,
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries,
Present.
Member Stockton,
Present.
Member Wright,
Present.
Chairman Neal.
Present. Do you hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. But I know there's not any correction or deletion, so Madam Clerk, call the roll on the minutes, please.
Member Brown,
Yes.
Member Childs,
Yes.
Member Griffiths,
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries,
Yes.
Member Stockton,
Yes.
Member Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
We have one item to consider tonight. It's consideration of an application for an on-premise beer permit for Maple Creek Bistro at 1000 Lad Landing Boulevard, number 120 Kingston. Do I hear a motion to approve this beer permit?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Wright, second by Mr. Childs. So I'm reading some of the stuff that does anyone have any questions on this beer permit?
Just one or two. Is this a true LLC? Does it have partners?
I'll have to refer to Ms. Hoffman now.
Yes, I'm the only member.
Okay. And the only other thing, if I'm not mistaken, and which it won't make any difference, I don't think, under number 16, the nearest school to the business is Silverway instead of Calvary Baptist.
Yeah, behind the insurance.
That's correct.
AGA, right?
That's what
Yeah, I
stopped
do
the liquor store was before, if you remember. Or not saying that this is a liquor store, but that stopped a permit from being issued because nobody knew that that school was there.
Right. And it's well outside the 500-foot bound. If there's no other questions about this beer permit, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Member Brown,
Yes.
Member Childs,
Yes.
Member Griffiths,
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries,
Yes.
Member Stockton,
Yes.
Member Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Welcome.
All right. Ms. Hava, can you give us a quick synopsis of what your plans are for this Maple Creek Bistro?
I can. I have to say, Roane County's been really good to us. So we have the barn at Maple Creek, which is on Galahar Road, and we had 51 events in 5 months. So through COVID, who would have thought? And we're booking about 38 to 50 rooms every weekend at Airman. We are bringing people from Pennsylvania, Oregon, Ohio. So what we've kind of overbooked ourselves at the barn, and these people are flying in and they want somewhere to go and eat and enjoy their evening. Most of our clients fly in on Wednesday and Thursday. So we've been sending them, to Los Primos and Cadillac Grill and Old Capitol. And this opportunity, Alan Garrison at Old Capitol presented it to me, and it just really made sense for us to kind of tie this into the barn at Maple Creek and be able to have an avenue for, people coming into our community to go somewhere and have a really nice dinner and a nice lunch. And so we have a vision. We actually took the third section that used to be the barber shop, and we're gonna have an outdoor patio area with a burn pit. And once I got through this process tonight, I'm already applied for the liquor license too, so we will have beer and we will have the liquor, of course, but we're doing a lot of leather couches, more lounge in that third section in the patio area, the bar area in the center, and then the other section to the right is for more people that want to have a rehearsal dinner, to be with their families. And we're knocking out walls to make it one big open space. So it's going to be more open than just 3 sections. And we're just really excited. We're excited about it. It's been a the long-term goal was to do this, but we were going to build a place out there off of Galahar and build, a restaurant right there on our facility. But then when this came up, it just made sense to do this for Kingston. We needed it, and for Roane County. So we're just blessed to live here and have what we have. So, and we cannot believe how good everybody's been to us. I can't say thank you enough for the county and for the city. Everybody has just been a tremendous help and a huge helping for the barn to be successful. And now I hope this can be just channeled into that. So we're excited. So
when is your expected open date?
We actually just took possession on Tuesday, and we're really trying to get this thing open at the end of March. So I know. So it's pending the liquor license. With liquor, it's a little bit different. You have to have all your seating into place. So they have to come in and count the chairs. So that might be the little holdup. But construction-wise, we've been there since Tuesday. We get there at 6 a.m. and my kids, I don't know if you guys know much about us, but we built the barn at Maple Creek, just the 4 of us. It was my son, who is 20, my daughter that's 18, and my husband and I. The only thing we hired out was the concrete. So if you would have drove by Food City today, you would have seen me out power washing the sidewalks and power washing the brick and making it look really good. So, but yeah, the 4 of us have been there till about 1 or 2 in the morning since this past Tuesday. And my daughter's playing soccer at UT. She's driving down every night, helping. My son's going to Tech. He's driving down every night, commuting from his apartment. So we're hoping 2 months, worst case 3 months if the liquor license doesn't go through. But we're excited, and we hope you guys will come and visit us once we open the doors. So
well, thank you and good luck. Nothing else on the beer board agenda tonight, so that meeting is adjourned, and we'll go straight into the regular meeting of the Kingston Water Board. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for the Water Board?
Member Brown.
Present.
Member Childs.
Present.
Member Griffiths,
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries,
Present.
Member Stockton,
Present.
Member Wright,
Present.
Chairman Neal.
Present. Do you hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Humphries and a second by Ms. Wright. Are there any corrections or deletions to the minutes?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk, call the roll on the previous minutes.
Member Brown,
Yes.
Member Childs,
Yes.
Member Griffiths,
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries,
Yes.
Member Stockton,
Yes.
Member Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Do we have any citizens that would like to wish to address the water board tonight? See any. So now I'm going to go into the utility director's report, Mr. Foley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In addition to my written report, just a couple of quick things. One, you may have seen the news story this morning out of Florida about the computer hacker who attempted to increase the amount of sodium hydroxide in the town's water supply. I think it was somewhere around Tampa. And fortunately, they caught it and were able to stop it. But it did cause quite an alarm. And I've had a couple calls about it. People wondered today if something like that could happen here. Obviously, I don't want to go into detail about our security protocols, but I do want to assure you that this specific type of attack could not happen here. Our chemical feed is not accessible to external control. In fact, that sort of thing has to be adjusted manually. So we have done a lot of work, made a lot of progress with SCADA, some of the other technological improvements that we've put in place, but we've done so and continue to do so with security and potential vulnerability in mind. So we are working toward the future, but we're also being careful. So I just wanted to throw that out to ease people's mind. And just something else real quick, since he's on the call in front of the board, we have Kevin on here. I know that you all have passed the water policies. He was certainly a big part of that with several other folks, but you know, a lot of stuff that doesn't come before you, just day-to-day operations. But I just want to brag on Kevin for a second. Since he's been in that role, the way he's been proactive and some of the ideas he's brought to the table, he's doing a great job, and I just wanted to brag on him for just a second in this with this opportunity. So, Kevin, great job, and that's all I have. Unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the utility director? I'm not seeing any. There is no new business for the water board tonight. Is there anything to come for the water board? No hands raised. This meeting's adjourned. Before we get off here, Mr. Brown or Mr. McPherson or Mr. Foley, do we have any idea when, how much longer we're going to have to go with Zoom, or when we can meet in person?
I think it runs through maybe March. The county commission had a Zoom meeting last night, and they voted to go back live. City of Rockwood voted to go back live. They opened their city hall up today for the first time.
Okay. We may give it one more month, unless anybody's got any objection. Okay. We'll get together on that for our next work session. All right. Guys, have a good week.